The US State Department says terrorists are using chemical weapons in Syria. It comes in the latest travel alert for the country and refers to the Al-Nusra group, now known as Tahrir al-Sham. Russia's defense ministry says it's the first admission of its sort after years of allegations that only the Assad government carries out chemical attacks in Syria.
Tactics of ISIS, Hayat Tahrir al-Sham and other violent extremist groups include the use of suicide bombers, kidnapping, small and heavy arms, improvised explosive devices and chemical weapons. They have targeted major city centres in Damascus, Aleppo, Hama, Dara, Homs, Idlib and Deir ez-Zor provinces.
According to the Russian army spokesperson, what is in that document is the first ever official indication by Washington that Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, the rebranded version of Jabhat Al-Nusra, is not only in possession of chemical weapons, but it actually uses chemical weapons. It is part of their regular tactics. In that travel warning, the U.S. State Department is referring to the activities of Nusra in the Idlib province. And according to the Russian spokesperson, one of the deadliest chemical attacks that grabbed most international attention recently happened in that very province. That was, of course, back in April this year. And back then, the American government was absolutely sure that it was Damascus to blame for that attack.
Yesterday morning, we awoke to pictures, to children.
Beautiful little babies
being carried in the arms of desperate parents.
These heinous actions by the Assad regime cannot be tolerated.
We remember what these words resulted in. The American military launching strikes on a Syrian army base in a different province, and that led to a massive escalation of the Syrian crisis. Washington fell out with Moscow over this. And I remember back then, the Russian Foreign Minister, Sergei Lavrov, multiple times called on the international community for an in-depth, independent investigation of it, while investigations of reports of other chemical attacks, including those on government-controlled territories in Syria, were never even begun. In the meantime, the investigation into April's chemical attack in the Idlib province continues by a team of experts from the UN and a UN-backed chemical watchdog. But no experts have actually been sent to the scene, and that's why the mission has been criticized by Moscow. The results will be presented to the UN Security Council in a week. And if Russia continues to see the efforts of the mission as insufficient, Moscow has threatened to suspend their backing of the mission's mandate as a permanent member of the UN Security Council.